started my student teaching with, you guys, would they know Miss Beck? I don't know how long.
No, Mrs. Beck left a couple of years ago. You called that wet.
But I was doing my junior high school teaching with Miss Beck, and I was just telling that whole story, how we came over here. What's she going to do with high school student teaching? And we didn't have anything. And we came over, and the rest is history. And so it was such a wonderful experience doing my student teaching here. I can't even like recognize the place. It's so totally different, and I'm so much older, I guess. But I am so glad to be here. And this is the 10th grade honors group, right? You all look and smell. That's always a good thing in the classroom, and becoming increasingly rare these days. But for real, I'm so glad to be here, walking through these halls in 15 years. I got hired right away at Hudson. I taught at Hudson for over 17 years, and I resigned. No, I did not retire. I'm not old enough to retire, but I resigned from Hudson to move on to other things, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And that was in October. That was just after the school year started, and I moved to Missouri and started a little business, Adrienne Ross Communications, and I'm doing some freelance writing, and I'm working as an editor for a website, and I'm doing a little traveling and some motivational speaking. So here I am, back where it all started, and realizing that I would not have had the opportunities and experiences that I've had it not been for Catskill. So you guys are a part of the journey, and Ms. Ross is a big part of the journey, which was so encouraging. A Raisin in the Sun we did for that 9th grade class, Rebecca. I mean, it was just amazing. So here I am, and it's interesting because what time is this class?
At 12:45.
Woo! All right, your brain's turned up to fast. We got a lot to share today, but it's interesting because I know that this is the time of year when generally you guys are shutting down, you know? Yeah. You're like, oh my goodness, that's the biggest response I've had. Yeah, we're all shut down. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to shut it on for a while because this is the time, you shut it on, right? Turn it on. This is the time when, you know, you've done the year, you're like, okay, got finals and all this other stuff, and you're bringing somebody in to motivate me. I need that in September. But the truth of the matter is that I hope to share something with you that you can carry with you through the summer and bring. I mean, you're at the age now. This isn't like when you're in 6th grade or 7th grade or whatever, and you're like, okay, let me just go to school and do my thing, and that future stuff we can deal with that later. The point is that you're at a critical point in your lives. You don't get to take the summer off from being inspired and thinking about your future and thinking about the obstacles that stand in the way, because the obstacles that you face don't take a summer break. Hello. So glad you joined us.
Ms. Ross, these guys have probably given up their lunch to come here to see you. That's pretty amazing.
And I know some of these, of course, some of them from Hudson. But listen, I want you to understand that I came to talk to you a little bit about empowerment. You don't get to take a summer break from thinking about your future. At this stage of your life, you've got to begin to think, what do I want my future to look like? What do I have to do to get there? And my friend Key and I were talking yesterday about how the summer, we tend to change quite a bit over the summer. Some of us get in trouble over the summer because we don't have a steady schedule. We have too much time to find something to get into, you know? And when we think about, you know, I know that, you know, this is an honors class, right? This is an honors class, and so you guys are smart and all that. But even smart people need to be inspired. And as a teacher, one of the things that the one group that I felt that was we ignored somewhat, a lot of times, the look good, smell good crowd. We spend so much time focusing on the ones that, how are we gonna get this kid to do right? How are we gonna get this kid to stay out of the principal's office? How are we going to get this kid to get the grades up? And we do need to focus on them. We need to encourage them. But we sometimes don't even look at you guys because you kind of fly under the radar because everything looks and smells so wonderful. But I want to really talk to you about empowerment. I'm so glad to be here. I love being with young people, even though I'm not in the classroom anymore. That's the thing about my job that I always loved. It was, okay, we taught poetry, and we taught reading, and we wrote essays, and we did all that. But the most important thing, the thing that I carried with me, and that I will always carry with me, the relationships that I was able to establish as a teacher. And I was able to have that closeness. And so, though I chose to walk away from the classroom aspect of teaching, what's important to me and what will be important to you as you move on to your future is knowing that you made a difference. Because if you're not making a difference, what's it all for? And I still get messages from students now who say, I just got an inbox on Facebook the other day from a student who said, thank you. Thank you, because when I was going through a hard time, you made us laugh. You made us smile. I knew that you cared. And that means more to me than anything Common Core can come up with. Or Common Core, as I call it. Oh. I don't want to start trouble here.
No, we agree.
Okay, good. But when I say I want to talk about empowerment, I don't want to talk about how do I give you power. That's a power. That word is so important. And, I don't want to talk about give you power. I want you to know that you have power within you. And I want to encourage you to step into that and start thinking about how you can be your best self. Not only did I teach for 17 years, but I coached. I coached high school girls varsity basketball. I was able to develop relationships there. And I was trying to impart within my team that we need each other. Okay? And they knew that I cared. And for the most part, they cared about me, though they didn't care about all my tactics. One of the things I remember doing as a coach was, okay, you know what? Got practice 6 days a week. We won in Hudson. We won June Conference Championship while I was coaching. Had never been done winning the championship. We did it 2 years in a row. And I always pride myself on that banner that's hanging in the high school gym because those were my teams. But we practiced 6 days a week, 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. You know, and I remember the time somebody comes sauntering in there late. And I said, you know what? I said, you're going to stay here and the rest of the team is going to run. Because you're late. No, I'll run with the team. No, that's okay. You just sit down, chill out. They'll run. You guys look at me like, what the heck? Like, why? Anybody want to just say why? Why would I have that individual sit and make everybody else run when everybody else is on time? Yeah.
Well, then, give your all and you're a part of the team, it affects the entire team.
Thank you. Because the things that you do and the things that you say and the things that you teach, it's not just about you. It's about the people that you affect. And so, though some of you may disagree with my tactics, I sent a message that we need each other. And I hope that message remains. But I know what? There's a lot more that comes from pressure from your peers than from me. When that peer looks at you and says, you know what, you better be here on time, because I got to run one more lap because you were late, we're going to have a problem. Goes a lot farther than me saying what I have to say. So, we are a team, and that's one thing that I want you to keep in mind. So, in the time that I have, I want you to understand that I want to challenge you, not just to hear today, but to actually listen. My story is, as a teacher of 17 years, I mean, I had successes. I had successes as a coach, but I also had some obstacles to overcome. And a lot of times when you start talking to young people about, especially in Hudson, I experienced it. You start talking to them about achievement and empowerment, and they look at you like you're crazy because they really don't think you understand where they're coming from. But everybody has a story. And I grew up in a situation in the Bronx, in the projects, and my mom wasn't always there for me. My dad, they were separated. My mom would go off and do her thing, and my sister and I would be trying to figure out how we were going to eat. because you leave and there's no food in the house. And some of you, you know, say, I can't relate to that at all. And maybe you can. And some of you have other issues that maybe nobody knows about because we look right past you. Because, you know, good kids, they're cool kids, they're smart kids, and we have no idea what you're going through at home sometimes, or what you're going through inside, trying to figure out who you are. You know? I remember my mom not being there, my sister and I being hungry and going out on the 9th floor of the projects of the Bronx, knocking on doors, and, you know, and you got a piece of bread, you know, eating ketchup sandwiches and peanut butter. I know, gross, right?
That's my mom talking about. She's like, you don't know what it is. You ever had a ketchup sandwich?
All right, so ketchup sandwiches, and if you can call that a sandwich, and peanut butter, and just, you know, just trying to, my sister and I are trying to figure out, well, what is my mom thinking, you know? Looking out the window, seeing a bus go by, hoping she'd get off the bus, not getting off the bus. So listen, my point is, I understand that there are obstacles, and if you haven't been through anything yet, then just keep living, because you're going to experience things. Maybe you won't be eating a ketchup sandwich, but I don't know. I don't know what your issue is going to be. It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you have the tools that you need to overcome whatever comes your way. And that when you walk out of here in the summer, that you don't just, okay, I'll just do my thing, chill out. I want you thinking about your future. I want you guys making an impact on this world, leaving your mark. And so I know you were like, man, that's an ugly briefcase that lady's carrying. This isn't a briefcase, this is a children's toolkit. Yeah. So, I brought, I'm looking for like my classroom.
Look for space in this room if you can.
So I brought some tools that I want to share with you about how to walk into your best self. That's already in. It's already in you. It just has to be unearthed within you. And the first power tool that I want you guys to have is, these are seeds. There aren't many in here because I bought the 50-cent one. I'm cheap like that. But these are seeds, and these represent faith. And I want you to know that, anybody here have any experience on a farm? Okay, no farmers up in here. That was to kind of feel. Wrong sister. But this represents faith. Faith is like, see, there's no farmer who plants seeds and only sees the seeds. The farmer sees the harvest. The farmer has faith to believe that if I plant seeds, something is going to grow. And so whatever it is you want to accomplish, whatever it is you want to do in your life, whatever impact you want to make, you have to be able to see it like the farmer sees the seeds. And you're planting it and you're expecting something to grow. If you can't believe for it, you're not going to receive it, because this is what I say. Whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. And sometimes we just assume you believe you can, because you just look like you do. You nod at all the right times. You know, you smile at all the right times. You know how to do it. You know how to play. Look, I sat in faculty meetings, and I don't know what they're talking about, but I know when to nod. Yeah, I'm not even half. You know? But whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are right. So I want you to believe that you can. What do you believe for? This is your seed. Faith is a seed. All things are possible if you believe. But there are always enemies to those good things. And the enemy of faith is fear. And I really spent a lot of time thinking about fear, because it exposes us so much. When I decided to leave teaching, I mean, I've been doing this, I was in my 18th year. Kids love me. Right now. That's got pressure. So they're just not at the right time. So yeah. Kids love me, and was a passion involved, and I made money, had insurance, and all that. Why in the world would you leave? You don't even know what you're going to do. You're talking about going to Missouri, which is where I live now, something totally different. You got it made. The economy's not good. What would make you step out on absolutely nothing? I had faith that there was something else that I was supposed to do, and I refused to let fear make me stay where I was. Only the problem came too. What I said, there was a local volunteer. I shouldn't get to school. I said, go out for the basketball team, or soccer team, whatever. No, why not? You were afraid you wouldn't be on the team. So you didn't go out for the team, which means that you're not on the team. Think about it. You couldn't really be afraid not to be on the team because now you're not on the team. And you made that happen because you were too afraid to try. And so many of us are controlled by what is somebody else going to think? What are they going to say if I step out? What are they going to say if I do the right thing? What are they going to say if I do my homework? What if I'm on? I mean, what if I don't make it? What if you do? What if you inspire somebody else that they can make it too? And in the research, there are all kinds of fears. There's a fear of flying. It's called aerophobia. There's a fear of people. Anthropophobia. Anthropophobia. Fear of spiders. You know that, right? Oh, it's a movie or something, right? Fear of water. Hydrophobia. There's a fear of writing. All this time I just thought students didn't want to do their work. There's actually a fear of writing. So that's what they have.
Remember that.
It's called graphophobia.
I have graphophobia.
Right. There is even a fear that none of you have, not your generation, called a fear of telephones. It's called telephonophobia. But you cell phone junkies, you don't have that at all. There's a fear that I say I need more of, and that's cyberphobia. That's a fear of food. What? How could you be afraid of food? Cyberphobia and cynophobia. It's got two names for that. And then there's a fear that I pray we all get, and that's the fear of body odors. And it's called brahmadrosophobia. We all need a healthy dose of brahmadosophobia. And then there's something called the fear of fear.
Fear.
Phobophobia. Correct.
Nothing to fear but fear itself.
Nothing to fear but that's good. I didn't figure that. I just thought how crazy it is to have no fear and then be afraid you might get one. It's kind of crazy. But the truth is, I think that most people are afraid not of failure, but of success. My aunt used to tell me one of the most miserable person. That's the bell.
Pardon the interruption. Natasha Votto, please report to the main office for dismissal.
Education. Interfering with it.
Yeah, I got the fear of that. My aunt used to tell me that some of the most miserable people are A students. And I'm not encouraging that mindset, but because she felt like, she said that there are people, if you have an A, they're so afraid that there's nowhere to go but where? There's nowhere to go but down, and the pressure from the parents, the pressure from myself, there's so much pressure, and so they walk around in this fear. But we've got to overcome fear. Because most people are not afraid of failure, they're afraid of success. They're afraid that if I do well, like that A, then they're going to expect that of me. They're going to expect me to do right. They're going to expect me to choose my friends well. They're going to expect me to produce. And so there's that movie. I love this quote from the movie Coach Carter. Did you ever see the movie Coach Carter? If you haven't, rent it. Or you don't rent them anymore, right? Netflix or whatever it is. But there was that guy, Timo Cruz, and the coach kept saying to him, what is your deepest fear? What is your deepest fear? All throughout the movie, what is your deepest fear? And he was like, what the heck? Why do you keep asking me what my deepest fear is? Finally, at the end, after he'd gone through some transitions and some situations in his life, he got it. And he looked at the coach and he said, and I'll read it, he said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And I believe that your deepest fear is not being inadequate. For many people, your deepest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure. And then there's an expectation for you to produce some more. Live to that expectation. Embrace that expectation. You don't have to be perfect. My aunt used to say, look, you don't have to have 100 on the test. All I ask is that you do the best you can. And when you will do that, it will liberate other people around you. She did it, I can do it. Be free of that fear. So, faith, not fear. Another power tool is focus. So I just brought something simple with my glasses. Focus is so important. Vision. Where are you looking? Where are you going to be looking this summer? Where are you looking? Where are your eyes focused? Driving, when you learn how to drive, they tell you, make sure that you look where you want to go. Because when you're driving, you ever talk to somebody driving, like, ooh, look at that house over there. All of a sudden, the car, you're like, hey! You ever see that? Right? And you're just like, you go where you're looking. So where are you looking? Focus on where you want to go. And stop being distracted by nonsense. And the older you get, the more the distractions come. I know you think we're ready to be buried now, but even adults, we're still alive, we're still moving, we still have things that try to take our focus and our vision. Look where you want to go so that you can get there. Watch what you're looking at. And don't give that power that you have to other people. I heard all the time as a teacher, he made me mad. She ruined my day with what she did. But we love that he made me mad. Listen, can't nobody make you anything unless your eyes are fixed upon them. Don't give your power away to somebody else that can have that kind of control over you. But an enemy of focus is something I'm going to call, I don't know if you've heard it before, it's a condition called strabismus. You ever heard of strabismus? It's sort of like a lazy eye, which I always thought I had. I have a lazy eye. And the doctor once said, you don't have a lazy eye, you have something called strabismus. And let me tell you how it works. Everybody's looking, they're like, let me see her eye. What's she doing? Hey, look, I'm going to be like saying goodbye to you and everybody's going to be looking at my eye. Let me explain, okay, so you don't have to look for yourself. Strabismus is a condition. I went to the eye doctor, and he put that contraption over you, and they're like, okay, does it look better here, look better here, here. And then one time he goes, okay, are both the charts the same? I'm like, both the charts? I don't see two charts. I only see one chart. I said, there's only one chart. And then he said, no, there are two charts. And then I kind of refocused, and there were two charts. Well, what strabismus is that you have one eye at times. It's not chronic. It kind of comes and goes with me. But one eye is focused, and the other eye sort of just does its own thing, and it's not looking at what the other eye is looking at. But you don't realize it because your brain has learned to ignore or disregard the other object. It's deep, right? And it's probably a good thing. It's like, oh, I see it now. There it is. But the truth is that it's a good thing the brain has learned to disregard it, because if it didn't, you'd be like, you'd be seeing like, And so I used to go home, and when he told me that, I was like, that's deep. And I would go home and practice. I went home and tried to test it. I remember lying on the couch. And I'm lying on the couch, and I'm watching television. I said, let's see what that other eye's doing, right? So I took my hand, and I put it over this eye. And I really see, even then I had to shift. I put it over this eye, and I realized that I was looking at the wall. It wasn't even looking at me. It was just like, oh, I feel like looking at TV, okay? It was good if you had two shows you wanted to watch, right? But that's what I learned. And when you're young, they'll put like a patch on you or something to train the other eye. But he told me it was just too late for me. He's just going to be looking at TV. But the disregarded it. And so your focus, that's the enemy of focus, that's your business. And you've learned to disregard seeing the whole picture. But I encourage you to try to see the whole picture, which is your future. Look at the whole, a little bit over here, a little bit over here, a little bit over there. You're going in too many directions. We need to refocus so we can see where we want to go and we can go there. Another power tool is it's fellowship. So we've got faith, we've got focus, and we've got fellowship. And in a ring sort of represents fellowship as it does in marriage. It represents relationship. You pick your friends carefully because people speak into your lives and they produce things into your lives. And you don't need certain people in your life because they're not good for you. So be careful as I speed up here because I'm running out of time. So in addition to that, you also need a good pair of scissors. Because just as you need good people in your lives, you need to cut off, not cut up, you need to cut, I have to clarify sometimes. Maybe not here in Catskill, but you know. But you need to cut off some folks. And some of you know that there are people who are just not good for you. And that there are people who are good for you. There are some people you can't work with. There are some people you can't do projects with. There are some people you can't spend time with because you get in trouble. It's not easy to make that decision though, who you're going to cut off. Embrace the people who are good for you. Embrace the people who can speak well and speak into your life. Embrace the people that you give permission to say, you're wrong. Some of your best friends are your biggest problems because they never tell you you're wrong. You're like, let me tell you what she said. And they're like, and you know, she did that on purpose when she, you know, and you know, sometimes you're just wrong. And you need a friend that can say, she's laughing because the program is telling her, you're wrong. But you need somebody who's going to say, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but you know what, that's wrong. You didn't do that. Or you're going to do that, you cussed out Miss Ferrari, that was wrong. Go apologize. They would never do it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. But so often, what we do is we become those yes people. Oh, yeah, you should have been upset. I would have been upset, too. I'd have done the same thing. So, cut off some folks that need to be cut off.
It's making me feel motivated for myself.
Another tool. Really quickly. Is the shovel. Because, listen carefully, because you need a funeral. And what I mean by that is, you need to bury some things in your life. Some of us have some issues. Unforgiveness, anger, bitterness. Anybody else? Oh, I'm hearing the amen corner. So let me come over here. Here, hold that. You need that. Just give it back because I need it too. But some of us need to bury some things. Medgar Evers was a civil rights leader. It took 27 years, something like that, before they caught the killer. And the children who were grown, they'd say to Mom, how do you not hate the man who killed our father? How do you not hate him? And she said, let me tell you something I learned. It doesn't pay to hate anybody because half the people you hate don't know and the other half don't care. And so you're the only one tied up in knots. And every time you see them, so let it go. Release. Bury some things. Stop burying the things that's supposed to have life. Stop burying your dreams. Stop burying your future. Stop burying your potential and start burying that nonsense that's been holding you back. And I don't care what your grades are. I don't care if you're an A student. We all have issues that need to be dealt with. And I don't care if you're a C student. We all have issues that we need to deal with. So, you need that. And finally, you need some, and I'm going to close this so that I shut up because the bell's going to ring. You need something called fortitude. You need some perseverance. And so I just brought a little soldier because I have such great respect for our military because when everybody else, you know, is enjoying freedom, they're paying the price. And they don't say, I don't feel like getting up this morning, and I don't feel like doing it. We're sitting here today because there are people who pay the price for us, and they persevere, and they have fortitude. And no matter whether they feel like doing it or not, they do it anyway. One of my good friends has a daughter. She's 16 now or whatever, but when she was a toddler, her mother would tell her to do something, and she would say, but Mommy, I can't want to. I can't want to, Mommy. Not even that I don't want to. I wish I wanted to, but I can't. And that's how we feel a lot of times. Study for your final tomorrow. Work, get ready for the region. You know, do the right thing in the summertime. Write the essay, and you're going, but I can't what? I can't want to. Listen, if you only do what you can want to do, you won't do much. I couldn't want to do this, that, or the other. I couldn't want to pay the bills. Sometimes you have to do it. And if you learn that lesson now, listen, it's not going to be easy. But it's going to be worth it. I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite poems by Langston Hughes. You know who that is? Langston Hughes. He wrote a poem called Mother to Son. And I'm just going to leave you with this. If the bell rings, just give me a second. Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, life for me ain't been no crystal sand. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, places with no carpet on the floor. There. But all the time I've been climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners. Sometimes going in the dark where there ain't no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps because you find this kind of hard. Don't you fall now. For I still going, honey. I still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. And I'm sure you know about metaphors and all that. Life for me has not been easy, but she's saying to her son, simple, 3 words, don't what?
Give up.
Don't give up. You don't know what awaits you this summer. You don't know what challenges you have. But I believe you can meet those challenges with the power tools.
Tell you that word serendipity is amazing. You know, and that's when 2 good things happen simultaneously. It just so happens today at 2:30, I'm running a little workshop on what sophomores should do during the summer to get ready for college.
All right.
And here you come sashaying in here with all your bravado and all your glibness and all your wonder. And you basically said, don't waste the summer. Take it by the reins and get yourselves ready for the college of your choice. And coming from me to Williams, whatever, coming from you is like, wow. She was really good, wasn't she? Yeah.
You guys were really good too.
I did great. I really wanted you to come in. I've got Dominique back there, and Dee, and my little Jazz, and I forgot your name because I don't teach you. But I really wanted you to come to speak to all of our Catskill kids, and I will fight with all my might to get you back here next year. Interact. How many people are at Interact? Wow. Okay. We will make sure she comes back as a guest speaker, which is a fundraiser, because this guy was paying big bucks for this. And she's worth it. So we're going to get you back here.
I love that.
We'll give you what we in the business call an honorarium. And then what we'll do is we'll make you an honorary degree from Catskill.
All right.